The fate is disturbing.
Believe it. Okay.
What's going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 351 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Shelley Nollan.
Hello!
And Lj.Lowery.
Yo!
And this week, we're geeking out about Nintendo. Sony, I guess Marvel, specifically, right?
Yeah, Sony's version of Marvel, whatever that is.
Yep. Sony's version of Marvel, which seems to be just more Morbius. We'll talk about it in a minute. And live-action adaptions that we probably don't need of anime things.
Where have I heard that? It's not like we talk about it like every week.
Yep.
I know. I was looking at this earlier. Our geeking out here. We have it all kind of in the document for those who are listening and don't know that. And I was like, wow, this feels like 2 years ago. Geeks Under Grace. This was just
Dude, no kidding.
Been on repeat for years.
Yeah,
history just it repeats itself. We got Hollywood being stupid. We got Sony being dumb. We got Nintendo being Nintendo. And we got anime adaptations.
Like a good chance that it's literally the same writing
topics
that we've had before on a previous
I
podcast.
try to change up the titles as much as I can, too, because then I go, nope, I've probably put this. Let me change it. You know, like, there's times where I've literally went like, yeah, I know I was... Some of them have probably been very close.
Someone's going to listen to this one and be like, I already listened to this podcast. I'm positive.
Yeah.
You haven't. It's a new one.
It's a new episode,
Maybe.
just same...
Probably.
Yeah.
My Tears of the Kingdom update. I have seen the tears, and that's all I'll say because that lets people kind of know what's going on without me giving too much away.
Definitely
if you know, you know, kind of thing.
Definitely want to go see that. It's definitely worth the investment.
Nice.
Time.
Yes. Moving forward in the story.
Sweet.
And that's all I've been playing, so go ahead, LJ.
Yeah, before we talk about Final Fantasy 16, I've been playing a lot of my kind of Zen game lately, like especially every morning, has been playing more Power Wash Sim on my Switch. I bought it on Switch before I had a Steam Deck, or else I would be playing it on Steam Deck, but it is so fun and relaxing, and I can just play my music and like play the game at the same time. It's legit. So much fun. I highly recommend it. And then Final Fantasy 16 is really good. I think Shelley and I both played the demo. And then that's like that to me, like I was interested in it before, but like I told y'all before, like I was good with Diablo and Street Fighter. Like I felt like I was set. Like so like okay, I'm not gonna worry about Final Fantasy. Like I'm just gonna wait till the last minute and probably eventually get it. And then I played the demo and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to play this. This is like you talking about Tears of the Kingdom? We got some Tears of the Kingdoms.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Like straight up, there are two kingdoms in this that are it's emotional. It's a really good story, I think, so far. That demo will tell, if y'all played the demo, that'll tell you all you need to know about what I mean. But the game is super fun to play. I mean, I guess, Derek in chat had a good point is, there's people that are going to be upset that it's not traditional Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasies really haven't been traditional at all in like the last, maybe 4 or 5 iterations.
Yeah.
So I just, I'm like, and this one's feels like for the players like me who don't really play much JRPGs, who play more action games, and I think that's okay. But we got a spoiler chat in workplace of a few of us talking about it, and it's good. It's been fun.
I
don't know
think
what else to say.
I'm the farthest at this point. It's either me or Joe.
Joe
and I
we've been kind of like vacation.
Yeah, that's true. We've been kind of like going neck and neck a little bit. It's funny. He'll like post something like, I have this question, but like, or I have this thought, but like, or I have this reaction, and I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about because I do it like 10 minutes after.
Well, and then I just started spouting stuff off too, and I'm like, well, if people join the spoiler chat, I need to remove that. But I feel like the people who are in that chat are going to be who are in that chat. I don't think nobody else.
Not spoiling anything. It's just like, man, another like, cool moment.
It's stuff I think y'all have already been through, so it's like now I think like. I'm mentioning it so we can talk about it now.
Yeah,
it's good though. I'm starting to get really advanced in the story to where things are finally happening. Just stuff is starting to unravel. I edited about almost 30 photos last night. They got a photo mode. I was like, yo.
Yes, sir.
In the demo, when I played the demo, that was the first thing I looked for. And I was like, y'all just sold. I mean, I was already sold on it, but you guys just sold me even more. It's so good. I don't know what else to say. It's
super fun. As someone who went straight from Tears of the Kingdom of this game, I don't know. I do play a lot of RPGs, and I do play a lot of like turn-based RPGs or strategy RPGs, or JRPGs, right? I play a lot of those types of games, and especially coming from a lot of those games that, like Tears of the Kingdom, which is great, by the way, obviously amazing game. I even think of like Fire Emblem Three Houses, or like games that have like a lot of like avatars or something. I can't tell you how refreshing it is for a really, really good story-based game to have so far a good story, right? Who knows, maybe good or bad. So far a really good story, but also like a real awesome, fleshed out character protagonist.
Yes.
Like,
I like all the characters, like...
Yeah, I
Clive
do
is
too.
kind of getting better. Like, I feel like Clive is going to have some real good character growth, but I just love, like, even the side characters that, like, don't really matter much. I just, like, it just
care about them all.
Yes.
And I think something that really helps with this that is, I didn't even realize you don't really get it in the demo, but there's a lot of, like, quiet moments. There's a lot of moments where you just have, like, reflection between a couple of characters, or you just kind of, like, take a breather, or you just have a moment, and it really elevates the experience for me, because I really do deeply care about, like, if you're going to have a good story, you need good characters, and vice versa. And I need to care about these characters, and I want to see them being fleshed out. And this is a perfect way to do that. And, it just comes in the forms of, sometimes it's in the main quest, sometimes it's in side quests. And I just really love those moments, because it's just, small moments of, talking about things they're grieving over, or that they're excited about, or that,
every
they changed their mind
like
on.
It's building the world.
Yeah, so that's really cool. That's something that I mean, I already got the game, obviously, but if someone had told me beforehand, like, hey, like, there's these moments of, like, really good, like, bonding, it's because it's like, talking a lot. This game reminds me a lot of Dragon Age. People keep comparing it to Game of Thrones, I think, because they just don't consume a lot of other media like this. But it reminds me so much of Dragon Age. And again, Dragon Age also, like, I cared a lot about the story, and I cared a lot about the characters, and a lot of it was because you also had these quiet moments between your party members, where if you, like, go out your way to go visit them, you kind of, like, have this moment, and you don't even really need to do a quest for it. Some of the time you do. But a lot of times you don't. A lot of times you just get to sort of say hi and be like, hey, like, how was that last mission for you? Like, that, we visited your hometown, or we did this thing. Like, what are you thinking about it? And it's, like, super nice. So I love how that's an aspect in this game.
Every character has so much history, too. Like, yeah.
Speaking of history, I think a totally underrated but awesome thing about this game is the fact that you could just pull up lore at pretty much any time. Like,
what do they call it? Active something?
I forget what it's called, but yeah, you can pull up. Like, so at any time, if you're like, so why am I on this mission again?
It's
like, what are we
basically
doing?
Footnotes in a video game.
It is,
like,
literally, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like somebody spouts off a name of something, and you're like, oh, what's that? Let me hit the touchpad button. It's called, like, active time lore or something.
I think
like
that's what it's called, yeah.
And it literally shows these icons of, like, oh, here's the character, here's the location of where you're at, here's this event or this battle that somebody just mentioned, and it tells you what that is. Instead of, like, reading a book and, you go, oh, I don't know what that is. Maybe they'll explain it to me later, or something like that. It's one of the most genius mechanics for a game I've seen in a long time.
It's just a context giver.
Yes.
And you can just access it at any time, which is really cool. There's
in cutscenes too. Like, to me, that's the best time I use it, is cutscenes.
Which is super cool, because cutscenes do take up a lot of the game. Like, it is one of those games. It does take up a lot of the game. But I love that because then you always have an idea of like what
like
you need to be
I had to
doing,
learn like what
why.
a branded was, and I'm like, okay, what is a branded? You guys keep saying this word, but how do they become branded? Like what happens?
Yeah.
And it explains that to me, you know.
And it also makes it so they don't have to literally explain everything with exposition. Like so many games have to just explain everything with exposition. I think this game does a good job of showing and not telling a lot of the time.
Yes.
And that's really awesome. So you'll just hear people be like, oh, well, this and that. And you kind of can make implications or see implications. You can make these connections. And then a lot of times, if you look at the little lore thing, a lot of times they'll like confirm or deny it. Or then you'll learn more about them. And that's super duper cool. It's just like, all the characters are really good. The story's pretty good so far. Honestly, the gameplay is super fun. That's what sold me in the demo was actually the... icon challenge. So when you get through the main story demo, like, which is just the beginning of the game,
demo inside your demo.
They did. I mean, because most demos are either the beginning of the game or it's a like totally separate thing that showcases like abilities that you have in the game. And this demo did both, you know. So and I was already like, I'll probably get this game after the sort of story demo. I was like, I'll probably get this game, and then. After the icon challenge, I was like, shoot, this is really fun.
I didn't even know there was a second part until I saw an article on it, and I re-downloaded the demo to play that part.
Exactly. Like, that's what sold me on it, because for me, I'm like, listen, I can watch all of the cutscenes, right? I could do all that, but, like, if the game, it's a game, like, it needs to be fun. Like, that's kind of what I cared about, was, like, it needs to still be fun. Because I'll sit through games that are just, like, cutscene after cutscene. I play Fire Emblem and I play Persona, right? That's, a lot of those games are just dialogue, too. But they have a really good balance between their gameplay and those things, and, like, telling the story. So I was like, okay, this game needs to also be good at that. And it is. Oh, it's so satisfying, bro. And it is different. I mean...
Using like Torgal to assist your like, combos and your launches and stuff like that too. Like, I love how like launching a character up in the air. Like in Devil May Cry, you literally just swing your sword like up, you know, like to launch a character, but you use like other things to like use those kind of mechanics. Like it's super cool. Like,
yeah. And see, I am more comfortable with the action sort of gameplay because of Devil May Cry. Like, I only ever played the latest one. I've only ever played 5, but that was already enough to get me to be like, oh, this is cool. I like this. And it is a bit of a bummer that you can only play as Clive. That is something where I was like...
I want Sid DLC so bad. Like,
I'm sure it's coming. It has to, right?
I need Sid prequel DLC, like, ASAP.
That'd be awesome. That'd be perfect, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like... I think they could do that pretty easily even, but...
like, I would love if you could change your party members or something, like, within, like, these missions. Like,
so yeah, it's like, you can't do that, that's sort of the trade-off.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, I'm fine with it. I think also part of it, too, is knowing that they're still working on Final Fantasy remake stuff.
Yeah. Like,
you can get that slightly more classic experience with those games. Like, you could just totally ignore this game if you want Final Fantasy stuff. You can just get that game instead when it comes out. Or you can have 2 of the ones that have already come out, right? Crisis Core, obviously the first one with Intergrade. So it's like, that experience is still there for people who want it. And I still like that experience, too. I like them both. So I like being able to do both. But, yeah, so far...
Final Fantasy has something for everybody now, I think. Like,
It has an MMO for people who like that. It has all these, like, little rhythm games. Has strategy games. It has everything, you know? And again, I'm a very new fan. My first one was 15, and I really liked 15. It kind of became a little bit nonsensical by the end, but I was like, oh, you know, this is just a Final Fantasy thing, I'm sure, and I'm pretty sure it is, you know, kind of just a Final Fantasy thing.
I still think about going back to that game, but it's like with new games coming out all the time, I never will.
I know. I want to replay it. Like, I really do. I want to replay it, especially with the new, like, PS5 upgrades and stuff. And Kingsglaive. There's like a new version, right? I want to play that. But
the Royal Edition.
That's right, or something like that. Yeah. It's like, I want to play that. And then, of course, I still never beat the Intergrade sort of add-on to Final Fantasy VII, so I need to do that, especially before the next one comes out. And I don't even know if I'm going to get Crisis Core per se, but that's like a lot. But anyway, consider me a new Final Fantasy fan, as someone who likes other RPGs and turn-based stuff. I'm liking this a lot. It's very fun.
It's good.
Yeah.
We've made some Stormlight Archives connections too.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Tia will appreciate that.
There's a lot of Stormlight connections or comparisons to be made.
Comparisons, yeah.
Tons of, again, I'm seeing like Dragon Age stuff like over and over and over again. Like, I guess probably there's Game of Thrones stuff too, but I'm like, I just see Dragon Age. Like, that's what I know, so that's what I'm compared to. I've seen Persona, ladies and gentlemen. There are Persona moments in this game. And it is still kind of an anime game, so I guess you're going to get that. But there have been moments where I'm like, that belongs in a Persona game. There's been moments where I'm like, this belongs in a Devil May Cry game. And there's moments where I'm like, this belongs in Dragon Age game, right? I've seen all those moments. Which is great. I love all those things. So,
Sweet.
Our TED Talk is over.
We can, yeah, good stuff. Want to get into the gaming news then?
Yes. Okay. So we had that Nintendo Direct that just came out of nowhere. I'm gonna go over some highlights as I usually do. Real quick shout out, thank you Nintendo for putting Sonic Superstars in there, because I got to watch the Direct with my nephew, and that kid was hooked once he saw Sonic was in there, and I'm like, yes, I got him for the next 45 minutes. The biggest ones, I guess we'll get out of the way here real quick, are Super Mario RPG and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Those are like the biggest announcements, I think. A lot of people were jaw dropped when Super Mario RPG got announced. That remake.
Yeah,
it seems cool.
Everybody's been wanting characters like, I forget, Gino and another.
Gino for Smash.
Yeah, yes, and people have been, and I kind of said, I was like, I think those are technically Square characters. They might not necessarily be Nintendo characters. Because since it was made originally by Square, so that looks good. I played the original back in the, not back in the day, but like I played the original, and it kind of like, for me it was kind of rough, like it didn't quite age that great. So this is cool. Like, I'm glad this is a thing, especially for people that, I
thought they could have remade this game during the GameCube era.
They could have.
Like, done well. But even more so now, like, it's perfect. I'm excited.
and then now
this game was slapped on Wii U. All I'm saying.
Yeah.
And now we got, people who are fans of Mario and Luigi series, which I always knew were like a spiritual successor to Super Mario RPG. Like, the mechanics are very similar. Paper Mario as well. Like, those games owe it to Super Mario RPG for existing.
Yes. I really enjoyed Paper Mario.
Yeah.
First couple I played.
So, and then Super Mario Wonder, I'm going to go into that. That game looks like Super Mario Acid Trip. Like, it looks really good, though. It looks fun. Like, New Super Mario Brothers, I remember playing, like, one of the first ones on, like, DS or something. And, like, those games were fine, but, like, they just made so many of them that were, like, so samey. Like, even the recent, like, re-release they did, I was like, oh, that's no fun. But this one,
the art
like,
style in this is a little different. Like, the Goombas look different. And
and it looks
was
good.
really
I'm like, this is a fresh take we've been needing on classic 2D Mario formula for a long time.
It really reminds me of, like, Super Nintendo Super Mario World, if that had kind of continued.
Yes, it's got a very artistic feel to it as well. Like, we joke that it's like, it looks, it's like Mario actually took mushrooms or whatever, like you said.
Yeah, he actually he's just taking shrooms. I'm surprised it took him this long. Everything just gets real wobbly and crazy.
So, and the last kind of tease, like, I'm totally going backwards in this whole, like, it's the way this thing is listed. But then they teased a new Princess Peach game coming. Which looked weird to me because it looks like it might have loose, like, Mario Galaxy connections.
It makes me, it's like a magical girl game because she changes outfits. We know very little else, but I am headcaning in right now that it's predicting, I guess is a better term, is as a magical girl game where she puts on different outfits and gets different powers.
Yeah. We don't know anything about that yet, though, so I think that's cool. Like, they just decided, we'll mention it, but we're going to save that for another time. The thing I'm excited about, and then, like, my nephew is excited about, because, like, I've been kind of introducing him to Pokemon stuff a little bit. He knows I have the Detective Pikachu movie, and I gave him one of my Pokemon cards, so the Blu-ray came with a Detective Pikachu Pokemon card. And then so they showed that, and we were, like, both excited, because I'm like, I've never played Detective Pikachu, and apparently this is a sequel. I thought it was just a port, or, like, a remake, but this is a total sequel. It's called Detective Pikachu Returns.
They got all the new Pokemon in there.
Yeah, and then I didn't even think
pretty
about
cool.
it because I'm like, oh yeah, those are all new Pokemon. When I watched it again later, I'm like, duh. Like, I guess I was just so excited to see Detective Pikachu. Which I plan on showing my nephew that movie this week, so that'll be exciting. But yeah, that's cool. I'm glad that it's finally coming to Switch in some form. They showed Pikmin stuff. Pikmin 1 and 2 got, I guess, shadow dropped. Joe loves them shadow drops. I don't think he loves that one, though. But if you've missed the GameCube games, the Pikmin games, they are on Switch now.
Yeah,
and then
that's crazy.
Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, of all games, is getting ported to the Switch as well. Which we were just talking about that. Like, there's like probably another handful of 3DS games you could probably port.
Give me Kid Icarus Uprising, or give me a new Kid Icarus game, or give me Death. That's all I'm saying.
I gotta see what they're charging for these ports, because I didn't see what they were charging for Pikmin 1 and 2.
I think the combo between 1 and 2, I think is full price, but I could be wrong. Which is kind of crazy, but...
I have to look. I didn't care a whole lot. Yeah, Dark Moon... I mean, I remember those missions being super bite-sized, because they're like, oh, it's a 3DS. Like, let's put all these shorter missions in here. Let's see. Sparks of Hope stuff. New Mario Kart 8 DLC. Metal Gear Collection that we saw on PlayStation is getting a Switch port also. That silly WarioWare Move It reveal. That was funny, so we're getting a new WarioWare game. And then... I guess a highlight for us, all of us, even though we've already been playing it, is Vampire Survivors is finally coming to Switch.
That seems crazy to me that it hasn't been on there. And, like, I know. Probably was, devs have to design so differently for Switch, but that's such, like, a perfect Switch
I felt like it would have been an easy
game.
port.
Exactly. I'm like, it's crazy to me that it wasn't out there already.
And 4-player
Couch
co-op.
co-op almost makes it worth it.
I want online co-op too. That'd be awesome.
If it was online co-op, I would buy it again for online co-op.
Yep. I mean, I assume that update's gonna.
I would assume the updates
that update's gonna come with everything. I assume. I regret not getting this on. Like, I bought it on Xbox, and it's like none of my Xbox. Like, I don't have a portable Xbox device. Luckily, it's an inexpensive game. I'm not that far into
Game Pass, and so I couldn't do any updates or anything to it, and I was like.
Yeah,
so
DLC stuff. DLC, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm just gonna have to break down and get it on my Steam Deck, or Switch, probably Steam Deck.
Yeah, I just got it on deck, just from the get-go.
And that's kind of it. That's really there's some other minor stuff, but
very Mario heavy, crazy Mario heavy direct. Like,
that's natural to me since the movie just came out. You want to capitalize on the movie just happening, so they're like, oh well, let's bring out some more Mario stuff because people are going to be hungry after watching the movie. So I think it's natural. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
So that's it for the direct. Something I did want to give a shout out to, only because I've played most of these games, is MetaQuest, the VR headset. They're starting their own game, like monthly game service, and you get 4 of the games. You get one of them's Pistol Whip, which is really cool. It's like it's almost like if Beat Saber was like a shooter. Except like you're shooting, it's really cool. You like to all these different beats and stuff. That game burned like you have to do. I could not keep up with that game. I literally I think I refunded it because I was just like, it's so fast. I'm just like it was kind of too much for me, but it's a really good game. The other game I really like that my family plays a lot on here is Walkabout Mini Golf. It's a really fun mini golf game. If you want to check that out. And then the other one just escaped me. The other one, I think the fourth one I've never played is called Pixel Whipped, and which the title's obviously spin on. Let me scroll. Oh, and Mother Gunship Forge, which Mother Gunship is like an indie game that's been on across consoles, and that's another shooter. The Quest is a great machine for shooters, especially arcadey like shooters. To me, that's a good set though. I've played 3 out of 4 of those games, and it's going to be $7.99 monthly, and then if you want to pay $60, it's like a whole year for $60. So I don't know what the other games are going to be for, like, that's the first month. This starts in July. I don't know if I'm going to grab this because I don't play my Quest enough. I still really enjoy it. But for people that are looking to get like the new headset coming out, which I think they already did announce a new Quest headset, that monthly service is pretty good. I think, like, for that start. So that's all I got. We can move on from gaming.
Cool. We'll get into the movies then. I have not seen any movies this week, so LJ, I believe you're the only one.
All right, take another breath.
Yeah.
So
no break.
It's been a few weeks. I watched the first one. I watched that was really wholesome, really fun. Is Flamin' Hot, and it's the story about how hot Cheetos got made.
Oh my gosh, Cheetos!
It's an exaggerated story, but basically the person who's kind of responsible for it grew up. He grew up in Southern California, and it was a very personal story, especially for myself and like people back home and my family who have all watched it, because it's like we grew up around that culture and things like that. That's Southern California, like the Mexican culture and all that. And basically the pitch is like, oh, we put spicy stuff on our food all the time. Let's try it on Cheetos. Like that's the pitch, basically. But it's a really good story. I think it's worth watching. It's on Disney Plus and Hulu, I guess. They're putting some stuff on Disney Plus now that's like also on both, I guess. It's kind of interesting, but that's definitely worth a watch. It's free if you have any of those services. So I guess technically not free, but whatever. The other movie I think Cody will be more interested in hearing about is on a random Monday night, actually last Monday when we took off, we went to see Transformers: Rise of the Beasts at it was 10 o'clock at night. My stepdad, it was just past Father's Day, and he's like, "Hey, let's go see Transformers." Like it's gonna be on Paramount like soon probably, but we went to see it. It's definitely one of those movies you got to go to a theater for, or at least one of those franchises. I like the Maximals are really cool. The story it's definitely. You don't go to you don't go watch Transformers for like story. You go to watch CGI robots bust each other up, and humans running around scared as heck while the battles are happening.
It's like watching a kaiju movie, kind of.
Yes, that's the perfect way to describe it. It's like an American kaiju, like
totally.
Yeah. Yep. It's good though. There's not much else I can say. Just to avoid spoilers. There's things that make you go, huh? Like it's super super cheesy. I still think like Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast. I think these are my two favorite Transformers movies. Like I'm glad that Michael Bay is not attached to these anymore. To confirm, because I think we were all confused about the timeline of these movies, and I think we can kind of figure that Bumblebee was a reboot without them saying it was a reboot.
Yeah,
because this movie basically takes place after Bumblebee, and I think for all intents and purposes, the Michael Bay era is like
no more Shia LaBeouf, no more Megan Fox. We're done.
It's not being talked about at all.
That's fair. Very fair.
And this take place in the 90s, is that right?
Yes, this one's 94. Yeah. It takes place in like 94. Very East Coast vibe. Got a lot of hip hop rap in it. The director of this movie was the same person that directed Creed 2. It's good. I love it's just got a different vibe to it. Like they're giving these movies a little bit more of a personality and stylistic choice, I think, which is good.
Okay.
It's cool. I enjoy it. I think Cody, you especially will be pleasantly surprised with the things that come out of that movie.
Yes.
Things you've been wanting to happen for years.
I already kind of know, but I won't give anything away.
They weren't really
details, but I'm stoked.
There were articles that kind of basically already like mentioned things were happening with it, and
it's about 10 years too late, but
yes. Yeah. Anyway,
still cool.
It's a fun movie. I had a lot of fun with it. It's worth it. I think it's worth a watch if you like Transformers. If you don't, you're just gonna get the same thing, and you can probably move on. But these are very Hollywood like popcorn movies. You go to have fun. You go to watch a Transformers movie for the same reason you watch a Fast and Furious movie, even though those two haven't crossed over yet either, which would be insane. Because it's all about family and Autobots, and they're like family too and everything. Anyway, that's it. Those are the movies I've watched.
Nice.
Awesome. We will get into the movie news then.
Cool. Well,
go ahead, Shelley.
Yeah, as mentioned at the top of the show, Sony Spider-Man news, which, now that I say that, could mean a lot of different things. I could be talking about Spider-Verse. I could be talking about video game. I could be talking about the villain universe. So I'm talking about two of those. I'm not talking about the video game today. We got a trailer for Kraven, which I don't know. It's hard to remember what the Morbius trailers were like before the actual movie came out and everyone started memeing on it. But Kraven doesn't look very good. So it's like makes me wonder. I'm like, were the Morbius trailers this bad too, and we just didn't notice, or like what's going on?
The trailers for Morbius were bad, I think, but not that bad. Like everybody's, I think with Morbius, we're like, oh, this just looks like old 90s, 2000s vampire movie. Like this looks like
you're right. Yeah,
but I feel like Kraven is on a whole nother level of like ridiculousness.
It's kind of, and I mean, it's a red band trailer, so like that's probably part of it. Is they're just like, oh, blood and guts, and he's a hunter. But I'm like, I don't know. When I think of Kraven, I think of like, and granted, again, I haven't read too many comics. I don't know Kraven that well, but when I think of Kraven, I think of like meticulous planning and hunting and outsmarting. Spider-Man, for example. Obviously, Spider-Man's not in this.
Not Jungle Aquaman.
Not Jungle Aquaman. They're trying to make Jungle Aquaman. I like, and he's like full-blown killer, and I'm like, no. But when I think of Hunter, I think of like, he wants to, heck, even in the other Sony products, Spider-Man 2 trailer, when they introduce Kraven, it's very much like he's trying to find a worthy opponent, not in brawn, but in mind. He wants to find something that is fun to hunt down, track down, and, play with his food kind of thing. Like, which I think is way more cool.
That's the pitch for Kraven that the game delivered, that game trailer delivered. It's like, that's all you need to know about him.
Yeah.
This is too much.
It is. It's a little ridiculous.
I like the action sequences until the lion bleeds into him, and they're just like, he was bit, like, not by a spider, but by a lion.
A regular lion.
And just a normal
blood
lion.
Dropped, and now he's a lion man.
It's the most Morbius thing ever.
I don't remember what festival it was or whatever. It might have been CinemaCon, like when I would see people's reactions about the trailer, and the thing that everybody mentioned was the nose being bitten off. And they're just like, that is the silliness. I'm like, what?
It's like
okay.
They're trying.
It opens real strong for me. I was like, oh, this kind of looks cool, and then it just kind of.
The beginning was also, I was like, Russell Crowe, can't go wrong with him, can we?
Like, I don't necessarily hate what is Aaron Taylor?
Why is Russell Crowe everyone's dad?
He is everyone's dad. It's true.
He is.
Especially
Superman's dad.
Wait, no, I'm getting confused with someone else, right?
No,
he is. He is. Yeah, in Marvel. You're right. Okay. Okay.
And now he's Kraven's dad.
I don't know. He has big dad energy, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, he's at that age, I guess. He's definitely at that age.
But
I don't.
Anyway, yeah, it's like they're trying to make him like a unhinged Tarzan. They're not trying to make him like the meticulous hunter predator that is what makes Kraven so interesting, at least in my opinion. It's like, no, he can't take Spider-Man in a 1v1, but he can outsmart Spider-Man, which is like crazy because Spider-Man's so smart. He sets traps for him and he does all these things.
There's a comic line that everybody's been recommending, like even before this came out, is called Kraven's Last Hunt, and everybody says like that one is the like quintessential like Kraven like storyline for Spider-Man. Spider-Man. So
I think I would have been okay with that movie. Like that could have been a good Spider-Man 4 for me. Like
yeah.
They really messed up Spider-Man live action MCU.
Yeah,
they did a good job. But there's so many stories that I feel like they just kind of skipped over that would have been fun. that wouldn't like they're not going to stand up to No Way Home anymore.
It's like we talked about last time. Everything, it turns out like it was good, but now we're like after Spider-Verse and we're like, oh wow, that was actually a mess.
Yeah, like you can't like a Kraven, I guess, like a Kraven versus MCU Spider-Man would be really cool. You got this kid and you get to see like showcase just how smart he is and all that. Which we've seen that. I've always been disappointed in Iron Man 2. They really don't show just how clever and intelligent the intelligent characters are.
Yeah.
And I feel like they could. They kind of lean into Iron Man, but this is a soapbox I've been on for years. Shelley and LJ have heard this over and over, but Iron Man 3, they could have had the Mandarin, and he could have
this is
gone
literally becoming an episode we've already done before.
This really is. You're right.
Great.
Yeah, it's flashback Monday. It's a rerun. But same with Spider-Man here in this situation of like, we've never gotten to see him really like get outsmarted and then have to outsmart and show just how smart he actually is.
Yeah.
I guess that just goes to lazy writing. Like, that would be cool.
Like, and I think part of it too is I think of MCU specifically and characters that are supposedly smart in those. So many of them, not all of them, especially not Iron Man at first, but so many of them, it just seems like they just use technology and AI to figure out everything. And sure, maybe they're the ones that made the AI, and maybe that's what makes them so smart. But I always get annoyed where it's like, well, do this, Siri, do this. Obviously not Siri, but you know what I mean. Like, do this, and whoa, now we're gonna put this in the capacitor, and now we're gonna put this DNA splicer in it, and boom, we made a product. It's like, it's supposed to give the impression of being smart, but like, maybe intellectual smart, fine, but I think the cleverness is what we're missing in the sense of like using your brains for cleverness. And I think Iron Man 1 did it super well, where he started with nothing, with a box of scraps, right? Mm-hmm. Like he did that, and that proved his intelligence and cleverness kind of in one fell swoop. So, and again, some people are only book smart and not very clever. Like, I feel like Hulk, generally speaking, is like way more book smart than he is like clever, which is fine and great, but I don't know. I think Kraven is supposed to be a clever and cunning character, and it just kind of makes me sad that he's just like, looks like he's just on a rampage, and
he's like the world's
just gonna kill stuff. He just likes killing stuff. Yeah. It's like, he likes killing stuff for sport because of the sport. It's like that one, what's that book, that old book?
Most Dangerous Game?
Yes, it's like that. Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm like, that's exactly what it is. So, anyway.
The one everybody read in literature class?
Yeah. So, with this news trailer, we got kind of a 1-2 punch of, we got this trailer being released, and we got El Muerto getting canceled, which, if you don't know, was going to be another one of the sort of villain spin-off Sony
I'm really glad they're tapping out on this one.
Yeah. It probably was going to be bad. I just think, their records show.
It was a Mexican wrestler that, like, nobody, like, it's a Spider-Man villain, like, I don't think anybody's even really heard of. Like, I didn't even, like, not that my comic book knowledge is, like, amazing, but, like, he's not even one of, like, the B or C listers that people know about. He's just...
Yeah, I think it's just, like, part of it. They keep trying to bring these cool niche Spider-Man villains, because there are genuinely so many Spider-Man villains out of the... ashes and give him the spotlight, but they really are only effective as villains against Spider-Man. Think of the spot in Across the Spider-Verse. I won't spoil anything for those who haven't seen it, but he's a very silly guy. Like, you look at him and you're just like, that's a silly villain. What can they do with him? And he turns into... He is a villain. He is a villain to be messed with in that movie. And I'm just thinking, like, they could do the same with the Big Wheel, right? Big Wheel was another Spider-Man villain that everyone forgot about. Like, we could see him in Beyond the Spider-Verse, and he'd probably be really menacing. Yep. And it's because part of it is that he's genuinely a villain that is going up against Spider-Man instead of like, a villain, but he's going up against a worse version of himself, or he's going up against... Like, no, they're supposed to be villains, right? Like, we need that. And, again, I never watched, like, the Venom movies. Maybe the Venom movies did that better. I don't know. I think he's also slightly more of an anti-hero than he is straight up villain, but anyway, I'm
Venom
just like,
is specifically known as
Venom
like
has comics where he's a little bit more.
Exactly. So I think it works there. I think it works there. But
with these other guys, it doesn't.
No, exactly.
DC with Joker, like they didn't make Joker a good guy. They made him still real bad.
He was still bad,
and that worked because they really showcased.
It was uncomfortable to watch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like making Kraven the Hunter an animal activist is a weird choice.
It's weird. I won't watch it. I wasn't gonna watch it. I'm still not gonna watch it.
Being an animal activist is so
I'm not
weird.
gonna watch it. Can we to shift over to some actually good Sony Spider-Man related films? Across the Spider-Verse is still in theaters, still doing really well. In fact, I think I read that this weekend it beat out Elemental.
It took its spot back from The Flash.
Yeah, so it's still raking in all that dough, even more so than even more recent movies that have just been out to the theaters. So that's pretty cool. And
those are summertime bombs too. Those other two movies, like those bombed.
They bombed. It's crazy. All anyone wants to see is Across the Spider-Verse, and I don't blame them. But what's cool is that you're actually kind of rewarded for going more than once, like I did, because there are at least 2, I think just confirmed 2. I don't know if there's more. Different versions of Across the Spider-Verse in theaters. So someone pointed out
one she takes a selfie and one she points.
Exactly. Very, very subtle differences. Like super so like weird. They're not story related. I think there's a dialogue change for one scene as well. That's also not important, right? Or else like if they actually changed anything important, that would be kind of bad. They would have to go full send on that, right? But for now, it's just like small differences that people like noticed. And I actually saw the movie twice in theater, and I'm pretty sure I saw the same version twice. But that's really cool that there's different versions. I kind of wonder why, but I think
subtle differences. Like
yeah, exactly. I think one keeps people talking about the movie. Right? Like, it's just, people are talking about it still. And now they're talking about maybe for a different reason, but it's going to encourage people to go back and watch, probably. Because, I want to see if I get the different version this time. And I think it's kind of a cool little, almost Easter egg nod to just the themes of the movie of, like, multiverses and differences in different universes. Oh, you got 2 different movies. Like, that kind of just fits with the theme pretty well.
Yeah, because all the main stuff isn't going to be changed because those are canon events.
Those are canon events, exactly. So I think it's neat. I think it's cool. Yeah. This movie just somehow got even cooler. I am interested to see which version is like the actual canon one, like the one that they're going to be putting on the discs and on streaming eventually. But I just think it's neat. That's a cool, very, very good Sony Spider-Man movie franchise.
On sale?
I got it on 4K. I got Into the Spider-Verse on 4K.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You ended up grabbing it on that sale? Nice.
I did. I absolutely did. So worth it. So, and I'm like telling all my friends, I'm like, hey, you should watch Across the Spider-Verse, and if you haven't seen the first one, you should. And I have it, so you can borrow it, so there's no excuses. That's it for movie news. It's just a bunch of Sony stuff, and 1 pretty cool thing, and 2 just kind of stinky things. So we can move on.
All right. Well, we get into TV then. I didn't watch TV.
Listen, Final Fantasy 16 was my movie and my show. So and my game. It's all 3 of them. It really is.
The Secret Invasion for Marvel.
Oh, I forgot to list that. I completely forgot about that.
Oh, see, I haven't started.
I forgot.
It was a bit forgettable.
No, I liked it, but I just...
Did you? I mean, it's not bad.
I watched almost a whole other season of another show, so that's what my mind has been on. I forgot about Secret Invasion almost completely. But it's good.
It's not bad. It's there's a lot going on. The tone's a lot different. It feels very much like, and I don't know if he was or not, but it feels like Samuel L. Jackson was really in control of a show. Just in tone, it feels very much like something he would make.
Yeah,
which isn't a bad thing.
It feels like something he'd want to be a part of. Yes.
Yeah. I think like a lot of the MCU stuff is really goofy and silly at this point, and this was this like really cool spy espionage like thing.
This almost feels like the Andor to Star Wars, like at this point, like it's different, like it's not.
Yeah. At its worst, I think it kind of gave me the vibes of like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like the weird political stuff that they were doing with the like they feel very intertwined. Like they could be the
same.
The
scroll stuff is getting a lot weirder than I thought it was gonna be. Like it's getting a lot more. Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I forget that there was a lot of political commentary in that show too. That's not what I mean. I mean more just like these people were pretty. The villains in this seem, even though they're scrolls, seem pretty interchangeable with the villains in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Besides the fact that they're scrolls.
Yep.
But no, it's good. I'm really excited about like who's gonna be who and trying to figure that all out. And then like you never know what's real.
Yeah, the first episode definitely started out with a bang though.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited for the future of it. I wish there were more episodes out. I thought they were going to release the whole season all at once, but they did not.
Isn't there? I thought there was another show that they were going to do that with. I think that might be a Star Wars. I don't remember. There was one show that they said, "Oh, they're going to." Oh, that's Echo. They're going to do that with. I think.
Oh,
Echo,
that's right.
Echo all at once.
Season.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
I knew there was something. I was hoping it was this, and then clearly it wasn't. But yeah, excited for the future of it. It's weird. Tia was asking my wife, for those who don't know, she was like, "So who's in it?" And I was like, "Nick Fury," and she was like, "Yeah, but who's a superhero?"
Nobody.
And I was like, "Well, there isn't really a superhero. It just takes place in that universe." Which I guess Nick Fury in some comic books is a hero. But I was like, it's just taking place in the world. It's not really about any specific like hero this time.
Yeah.
I was like, what's his name? War Machine, I guess, is the only superhero we've seen so far.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. So that makes it really interesting and very different from the rest of the MCU stuff as well.
Yes.
This is the first thing that's just kind of happening in that world and not necessarily about like any of the heroes, the Avengers or anything like that. It's kind of cool. I guess Moon Knight was kind of like that, but Moon Knight was still very much about a specific hero.
Right.
Close to this is Nick Fury, and they even call him like a washed up old man at this point. So
yes, everybody's mad at him.
Oof.
yeah, yep, been gone too long. Where'd you go?
Yep.
But I'm excited to see more. We'll see. LJ, what else have you been watching?
I watched technically I don't want to mention the other thing that M. Night Shyamalan has worked on. But I've been watching this show called Servant that's been on Apple TV. I guess for like the last few years, there's 4 seasons of it. My coworker keeps on introducing me to these shows that are like actually really good. I'm like, oh, I'll check it out, but I'm like, I don't know if I'll be that into it. This show, it's about this like it's like this nanny that gets hired at this house of these like super rich. I guess they're super rich. One of them's a reporter. One of them's this like top of the line like chef, basically. And in true M. Night Shyamalan fashion, things are really weird. But I feel like it's good. See, M. Night Shyamalan is one of those weird directors that obviously he does some really weird stuff and stuff that's like, oh, that's not very good. And then he has like other like stuff that is good. Very inconsistent, I guess, director. I feel like you either like some of his stuff or you don't. It's definitely one of those things where I'm waiting for the twist because the whole robot chicken joke is what a twist, like
yeah.
It's good. I'm not gonna say much more. Other than there's things that are happening because the wife struggles with losing children, and that's like I recommend just watching like a season 1 trailer for the show just to get a grasp of what it is. I'm almost done with the first season, and there's 3 more. It's such a slow build in a good way. The story it's one of those things that's like, oh, is the nanny this weird evil person, or did she come to this family to be protected from something? Like, it's like you don't know. That's kind of the pitch, I guess, without giving anything away. And I'm curious to know more. Like, I've watched almost an episode and a half or 2 episodes like every night, along with playing. Like, I've been playing a couple hours of Final Fantasy and watching like maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours of this show because it's that good.
Heck yeah.
At least it's keeping me on the edge of my seat. Anyway, it's good though. I'm enjoying it a lot.
That's good. M. Night Shyamalan making a dub. I also have like such mixed feelings over him as a director. I really like some of his movies, and obviously
like Signs is I enjoy.
I really like Signs. Yeah,
Lady in the Water is a weird movie, but I enjoy that one.
I liked that one too.
It's just his movies are so weird, and not all of them. And there are some bad ones, and there are some good ones. I feel like this is the better. It's definitely the better of his work, I think. So, yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Cool. We'll get into the TV news then. Just a couple things here. Both Netflix.
Yeah.
That could have been a way to put that. I didn't really consider that. We got our first looks at the Avatar actors for the Avatar Last Airbender live action that the creators of the Avatar show abandoned because it wasn't their vision anymore.
These look like really good cosplay photos.
So in this news, you got a live action adaptation that the creator stands behind, and now you also have a live action adaptation that the creators don't stand behind. Oh man.
Yeah, the other one's One Piece. But this, I like the kid that's playing Aang. I think he's going to do well.
I'm sure they're going to act just great. I don't trust the writing. That's what I don't trust. I think they look accurate. They look like really good like cosplayers, which is
we can say the same thing for One Piece as well. Like I definitely like some of the actors look like they're having fun.
Yeah.
I don't like in the writing, like you say about the writing. Like One Piece is one of the most like having read some. Like I'm obviously no expert on One Piece, but it's so like one of the most well written manga. Like is. Avatar and One Piece are like top tier in both of their
elements, they're both really good.
Totally.
I watched a little TikTok thing, and it was the actor, but he was like kind of acting like Aang. He got really like hyper and like peppy to be obnoxious to the actor that was playing Zuko. And I was like, this really feels like Aang, so I'm excited for that. But anytime I think about the show, I think of it's just a still image, a poster from like 5 years ago of Appa.
Yeah.
And it's just this like terrible CGI looking like 3D model of Appa that we were supposed to love and be excited for.
Yeah,
and that was a long time ago. Maybe the show's changed.
Yeah. I don't know.
We need to see more.
When I look at...
we need to see the trailer.
I agree. Like when I look at these pictures, again, we're going to talk about M. Night Shyamalan. Unfortunately, it just makes me think of that movie. Like, I'm like, cool, okay, the tattoo is now just a blue arrow, and like, cool, all the characters seem like ethnically the way that they should, right? They look like they should be those characters, but it's still, I don't know, I'm just like, there's some things that shouldn't be made live action, and I think this could be one of them, and I don't know, maybe it could be like super amazing or something, but I'm just like, there's just kind of no point. Like the outfits look better in cartoon, I mean, the actors, they look great, right? Like, that's not the problem. But it's, like, the world and everything else, I'm just like, I just don't... It looks like... People are like, oh, it looks better than the movie. I'm like, how? By just those two things? Like, sure, I guess you're right. It looks better than another movie. But we need to see them in action. We need to see the rest of the world in action. We need to see literally them in action in the sense of bending.
We need to see the bending.
We need to see them bending. Like, we need to see them interacting. And we need to see... the chemistry there, because there was no chemistry.
It kind of goes back to what we said last week about, like, I'd rather just a studio be given a lot of money to make an animated thing than to try to make a live action thing with a big budget, because they're making that adult Team Avatar movie where they're all adults. It's be animated, and I'm so much more excited for that.
I fully agree.
You're gonna have this, and then you're gonna have the stuff that's gonna be on like Paramount. That's like actually official.
Yeah.
Not that this isn't.
That too.
Guess,
this feels like
official,
a fan-made film.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we have Avatar stuff on another channel, and then we have this.
Yeah.
Just this like last ditch effort that was abandoned. And then LJ, you talked about it a little bit, but we have One Piece, and it looks accurate. I don't know if that means it looks good.
Right. I agree with that.
It just looks so cheesy.
I feel like that's almost in the spirit, though, too. Like, I wonder if that's going to be used, like, in a good way. I've seen videos where people break down the trailer and talk about how like, oh, it seems faithful. Cowboy Bebop looked like, oh, like okay, that looks like it could be cool, and then it wasn't. I think this could suffer from the same thing. I like that the creator of One Piece has been backing it.
It
seems like it has his support. I really love that. I think it's really cool that they took their time to like build these set pieces by hand. I think that's a really neat touch. All the crew members are basically actors that match the race of what Oda, the creator, wanted. Like, so he always pictured like Luffy as like from Brazil and stuff like that. So these actors like match up with his vision of what One Piece is, and so I think it's definitely not. I don't think these adaptations will ever measure up. Like even the adaptations, like you have to like somehow transcend it. Like Lord of the Rings, I think is like a good example of an adaptation. Like I guess we won't talk about Hobbit, I guess, but like those three movies are just like boom, like they transcended. I think what adaptations are, and we don't get that very often. I think that's like the only good example I can think of off the top of my head. But One Piece looks fun so far. Like it looks like one of those things I'm going to be able to show to somebody who's never watched an anime and be like, oh, hey, look, it's based off of this thing that I've read or I've seen.
Yeah.
And they're going to be able to watch it. And I think that's going to be, like, if that's the purpose it serves, I think that'll be okay.
That's true. That's a really good point.
Yeah. But we know what Netflix has done before. We know what other, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And that's the thing that has people hesitant,
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely don't have my faith.
And yes, it does look cheesy. Like, yes, I want to circle back. It does look cheesy.
Yeah, cheesy isn't always bad. Like, seriously, cheesy is not. I love cheese. Final Fantasy 16,
Mm-hmm.
It's got some cheese. It got some angst. It's got some edge. I think it's very fun, very funny, I love that sort of crap. So
yeah,
I'm cool with cheese.
And the
Just
stretching.
Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
That was like
Cowboy Bebop.
But and even the stretching, like that looks silly because that's just a thing that's going to naturally look silly in a live action like movie. Like I don't
look better in what's the Space Jam. Look better in Space Jam.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, wow, I didn't even. Yeah, that's funny. That's a great
I don't
point
actually
there.
look better in Space Jam, but
I think of like Fantastic Four and stuff like that because there would be those scenes where Reed Richards would like slide his fingers under the door and stuff like that and use his stretchy abilities, and it looked super weird too. So I think that's just always going to look weird.
It's true.
Yeah. That's funny.
Fair assessment.
Yeah.
Are we? We're gonna end the podcast there. Are we geeking out about anything else this week?
I want to give a quick shout out to. I've been reading Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky. It's like one of the newest iterations of Daredevil.
Nice.
Because I'm going to be meeting Charlie Cox at GalaxyCon in the next like under 2 months over here, and then we have the show coming out. We got Echo coming out, so I started reading this. I'm going to write a review for the site. But I do want to give it a shout out because it really focuses on Daredevil's faith and about whether he thinks it's okay to be basically the hand of God and deal justice for faith and for God. So I think the spiritual element of this book is really what I want to highlight. So that's the stuff I've always liked about Daredevil, like is the spiritual aspect of. He was basically a Catholic orphan, basically. He spent a lot of his time at, the chapel and stuff in the church while his dad was, doing the things his dad was doing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I really enjoy about this book so far. So, and it's later in Daredevil's career too, which is really cool. So yeah, really good. I just wanted to give it a quick shout out.
Cool. Anything from you, Shelley?
Nope, that's it for me.
Well, then, LJ, where can they find you at?
You can find me on, everywhere at LJ the Paladin.
And Shelley?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24.
Cool. And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.
It's on!